So there's a rather riveting debate going on social media at the moment about which designer bags are appropriate for evening wear, formal wear, or which are great day to night transitional pieces versus those that are not, those that are grossly inappropriate. And it's a really hotly contested topic of the moment, owing in part to the first bag that was called out, which is the Hermes Birkin. And it's not a new topic of discussion, but the creator who had their latest go at this really has the internet abuzz. People are taking sides, they're throwing jabs at each other, they're pointing out the underlying rhetoric to why they believe each other has their own thoughts on which bags they should deem appropriate to wear to these different occasions or in these different settings. The most triggering statements so far is that people who wear bags like the Hermes Birkins to formal occasions and to evenings, dinners, that type of setting, these are people who lack personal style, have no identity, and they're using the bag to fill that void and to wealth signal in inappropriate ways. Probably what's considered most offensive so far is using those bags that are complementary with gift sets from these luxury houses like Chanel and Dior and converting them into bags, or even using other accoutrements or accessories from these brands like pouches as bags in these evening formal type of settings. Of course, there are the opponents who think that anyone who's taking their time to do this is simply envious, they're jealous, they don't have anything else to do with their lives than to hate on other people and to hate on what other people are doing. This is my take. I have always been of the personal belief that you should enjoy your fashion, you should wear whatever you want, whenever you want, except if you are in a situation where it culturally dictates you to dress a certain way, or you are requested formally by persons who've invited you into their settings to abide by some sort of rule or etiquette. Abiding by these things is the highest form of respect, and you're showing that you have more respect for people than things. If there was no formal discussion, you should be free to do whatever you like. It is your fashion and it's there for you to enjoy. And yes, while I personally understand that these pouches, these wallets, these crossbody bags, they were marketed for particular use, but it's through converting these into items and using them in ways that were not intended. That's how creative geniuses shine. A lot of the items of fashion that we have today were created out of a eureka moment by a fashion genius who saw a different way of doing things and creating something that was so much more worthwhile to have and to enjoy. There needs to be this type of rebellion in fashion for fashion to continue to innovate and to excite us. And we need to continue to explore and express ourselves through our fashion. And if it takes wearing a bag in an inappropriate setting to do so, once we're not being disrespectful to others, I think this is something we need to continue to do. So these are a few bags from some of the most popular, well-loved luxury fashion houses that were not specifically made for formal wear, for evening wear, but I think would beautifully transition from day to night and would not be offensive. I think the underlying themes here that we are really looking for or seeking is that of elegance and refinement. And the number one on this list, and the number one overall to me, would have to be the Lady Dior. The very silhouette of this bag is that of luxury and elegance. It sustains and carries a heavy weight of legacy for the brand. So by now we know this bag was named posthumously after Princess Diana, Princess of Wales. She was gifted this bag by Dior and she would not put this thing down. She brought this bag almost everywhere in almost every setting. And this definitely shows how much of a great transitional piece this is. This was her workhorse bag, and despite that, it still drafts this air of confidence, purpose, elegance, and luxury, and that is why I think it has to be the number one bag in this situation that would fulfill the desires of those who are looking for an appropriate transitional piece. Before we stray too far from the bag that started it all, I want to talk about Hermes. Personally, I would not take a Birkin 30 to dinner or to wedding or to these type of formal events, but I'm saying this as someone who does not yet have a Birkin 30. Catch me in a couple years and I may have that thing glued to my hand and dragging it everywhere in the same way that Princess Diana dragged her Lady Dior. You can even reflect on the story of how the Hermes Birkin came to be. The famous actress Jane Birkin, she used to walk around with her straw woven basket everywhere. She was a lady who loved to bring all her essentials. She always had to have everything on her, especially when she became a mom. She wanted a bag that could do it all, and the only thing she could find at the moment were these straw baskets. But as fate would have it, she crossed paths with the Hermes executive Jean-Louis Dumas while they were on a flight between two fashionable cities, Paris and London. And she pointed this out, and they spent the entire flight just discussing and creating this bag, the Hermes Birkin, that was supposed to be a fashionable, womanly carry-all type of bag that could fit into multiple situations, that would transition from day to night into every arena of life. So by origin, the Hermes Birkin is supposed to be able to fit in this situation, but I think currently it is not marketed as that. It is marketed as a day bag. It is marketed kind of as a travel bag. So seeing some of the rarer, more exclusive type of Birkins that exist, you would understand why somebody would want to bring that in a setting of formality where is what you really want to show. This is how you want to represent yourself in that setting. Nonetheless, I think we fixate too much on the Birkin and the Kelly from Hermes, especially when they have so many other gorgeous bags. And I hate when people call them Birkin bait, because a lot of these bags are beautiful pieces in and of themselves. And two that I think are perfect for this situation are the Hermes Kelly Elan and the Hermes Kelly Pochette. And these are not easy bags to come by based on what the Hermesistas are saying. And I also want to add the Roulis, I believe it's pronounced. I think all these bags are stunning and captivating, and they also speak for themselves. Nonetheless, I think they're more appropriate than the Birkin and the Kelly here because they are a little bit more subtle. Not many people know about them, so they would be less distracting in those settings and well received than a Birkin and a Kelly. From another beloved, Louis Vuitton, I have two bags. One is the Capucines, which they have been trying to position this as their Birkin. They have been trying for the longest time to market this bag in a way that it would be akin to the Birkin, where it carries such rich history and heritage of the brand. It was named after a street, Capucines, I'll put it on the screen, the entire name. That's where the first Louis Vuitton store was opened. And they talk about this bag in a way of how exclusive it is and how complex it is to make. It has 250 different parts that need to be assembled by an artisan. And mind you, this bag is beautiful. It's one of my favorite bags from Louis Vuitton, and it's not very popular. I don't think it's really taken off in the same way that the Birkin has taken off for Hermes and carries that legacy for the brand. But I honestly think it wins over the Birkin in this argument because it is literally a day to night transitional piece, and you can see how complex this bag is in its creation. Every little aspect of this bag is meaningful and intentionally done, and everyone I've seen with this bag has worn it and styled it in such amazing ways. And I believe that if you are looking for a one-off item to purchase, a higher end or premium priced item from these brands, especially for Louis Vuitton, this is definitely one that would serve in different capacities and would not offend anyone. It would actually be a bag that people welcome. The second bag is a Louis Vuitton Steamer H27 and the PM. The PM is smaller. They do have an MM. And I think this deserves to enter the conversation because it is a Birkin lookalike. I don't think enough people know about this bag. It's not popular. They don't have a lot. I think it's kind of like price upon request, email, made to order type of thing. But despite it being a lookalike to the Hermes Birkin, there's something about its structure that makes it look a little bit more elegant and a little bit more feminine and a little bit more formal. And the hardware on these bags just beautifully accentuates the bags. They do have a little bit of a monogrammed piece inside, but don't get scared. This is not that type of Louis Vuitton monogram that makes it look more casual. This is beautifully placed. Another intentional bag by Louis Vuitton. And I think it would draw more intrigue, more interest. People would be more interested in finding out what kind of bag this is, as opposed to being triggered or launching into a discussion as to whether or not this is appropriate for a Michelin-starred restaurant. From Gucci, I really want to hear your input on this one. I searched, and I really couldn't come up with anything that I thought was like 100%. It would have to be between two of my favorites from Gucci, which is the Gucci Jackie bag versus the Gucci Dionysus. But otherwise, I don't think they have great transitional bags. You're either a formal bag or you're a casual bag when it comes to Gucci. Is it just my side of the internet, or has Fendi been really quiet lately? I don't know, but I haven't really been hearing from them. Nonetheless, for the situation, I think the Fendi Peekaboo is the obvious choice here. This is their perfect transitional bag, and they know that, and it's reflected in the price, it's reflected in the way they style these bags in their runway shows, on their websites. It's a beautiful bag in my opinion. Just not my favorite bag from Fendi, but if you are a Fendi lover, this is absolutely the bag you really need to invest in. From Chanel, I'm not even going to waste your time on this one. We all know, let's say it together, it is obviously the Chanel Classic Flap. They themselves refer to these bags as the universal symbol of sophistication, blending style, and practicality. They're beautiful bags, whether you like them or not. Obviously, the jumbo sizes, the large sizes, they're pushing it, but the Chanel Classic bags are absolutely amazing bags for transitioning from day to night. And once they're made properly, they are very luxurious, beautiful pieces. You cannot deny that. Next up is Saint Laurent. This is my absolute 110% favorite luxury design house for handbags. And unsurprisingly here for this conversation, the sac du jour is perfect. It was quite literally made for this purpose. It was supposed to be their answer to the Hermes Birkin. And when Heidi Slimane headed the creative team to release this design in 2013, it was an instant and immediate success and continues to be one of the most loved bags to this day. The sac du jour's minimalist yet refined style appealed to those fashionistas who wanted something that would just perfectly complement every outfit in every situation. It didn't need to be the star of the show. It just needed to be that perfect accessory. Another favorite of mine that I've spoken about multiple times here before is the Givenchy Antigona. Especially in the smaller sizes, they're also making them now in a slouchier version, softer materials. They are practical elegance. There's not much to say about them. Favorite version of this is the Mocha. It is so delectable. It looks like chocolate. It's perfect. From Bottega, I have to choose this version from their Andiamo line in the smaller sizes. The name itself, Andiamo, means let's go. So it is supposed to be that versatile bag. And I will admit, when this bag just came out, I hated it. But I still had a gut feeling that it would grow on me, especially seeing more and more people style it in some beautiful chic ways. When it comes to Loewe, you may think that I'm gonna say the Loewe puzzle bag, and yes, Jonathan Anderson really did his big one with that bag, but I don't think it is an appropriate bag for certain formal settings. It is a beautiful bag. It is a very unique bag. It is probably one of the best bags ever created. And I can envision, and I've actually seen some versions of this in formal settings, and I've not really felt negatively towards it, but I just don't think it's a right bag here. However, outside in the real world, and not so much in social media, I'm seeing more and more beautiful people wearing their flamenco bags. The smaller versions of this, even the clutch, if I'm not mistaken, comes with a detachable strap, which makes it a functional bag, but it's a very unfussy style that still has this underlying elegance to it and the sophistication that I think we have been looking for these types of transitional bags. From Valentino, this V-sling top handle bag is the closest I could find, probably from my own preference, that I think would be beautiful for day to night. It's a beautiful bag that would be appropriate for formal settings, and I already mentioned this in my Hermes Kelly alternatives video. So if you believe that the Hermes Kelly is one of the bags that would be useful in this setting, then automatically you really should see that Valentino's V-sling version of this type of silhouette is also perfect. Prada, I genuinely could not find something that I thought would be useful or transition well. I think Prada is a very, very practical brand when it comes to the style of their bags. But if I really had to nominate a bag, it would be their Galleria bag. That's it. But I welcome you to engage in the comments. If you are a Prada lover, let me know which bag from Prada you think would be right for the situation. Kate is another brand that has been really dominating my social media space. The algorithms are working overtime to show me everything from Kate. I love the brand. Really high up on the totem pole in terms of what they offer and in terms of pricing is their Kate bag. I think this is a bag to watch. This is definitely regality and opulence, something similar to the Lady Dior. And obviously, if the Lady Dior is my number one pick and it's the best bag for this case, I think the Kate bag is also another one that would be suitable here. Speaking of totem, from Totem, this T-lock, either in the top handle version or the clutch version, is the best bang for your buck of the moment. For one, you're getting the popularity of the brand of the moment, you're getting quality, and this is not my personal opinion, this is littered across all the reviews for this bag. People are loving the minimalist style of this bag, and I also want to say that I don't think people have really pointed out the fact that we are in a phase, we may be coming out of it, but people want items that are not loud and detracting. They want items that can easily and seamlessly pair with a lot of what they have so that they don't have to overdo it with their fashion. And something like a Birkin, which might not have a lot of logos, it's still a notable style, and it represents immense wealth. It represents exclusivity and is therefore a reminder of the existence of a social class. And whilst I did not surmise that from this creator's original video, you know, other people were talking about how it's classist, what she said, it's misogynistic, even went as deep as to say it's racist. I didn't get that from her video, but others did, and therefore it is a cause to pause and to reflect. Think about why we feel the way we do when these discussions arise, and when we notice negative emotions, we need to start working through those emotions to find the root cause. And then we can work our way back to finding the beauty in fashion. Fashion is a form of art that is accessible to most and is here for us to enjoy. It doesn't have to be designer labeled or designer priced. And I'll link my website below. Be sure to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and watch a few of my other videos.